Okay, hey, I'm so glad you want to hear more about this topic of how we can kind of end up in a cycle of feeling underappreciated at work. And it happens in kind of really simple ways. So, for this example, let's just take the classic thing we've heard some manager or company memo say. Maybe we've heard them say something like, we want people to speak up more at meetings. Okay. So the first way that we can kind of end up in underappreciation is we can judge or understand what they want wrongly. So on the surface, this request, we want people to speak up more in meetings, is kind of straightforward. What's there to misunderstand? But speaking up more in meetings could actually mean 100 different things. So, for example, why is it important that people speak more in meetings? Do they want to know more about what people feel about the company direction? Do they want more buy-in on the plans that they make? Is that because they want more constructive feedback to notice problems up front? Or is it that they actually just want more praise? They want to hear more positive feedback about the plans that they've already created, and they're not so open to really changing them. They just sort of want to get the positive juices flowing. Maybe they want more brainstorming. Maybe they want more problem solving in meetings. Or maybe they want people to take more ownership. Maybe they want to outline sort of the basic plan, but they want more people volunteering to take responsibility for specific tasks. Maybe they're concerned about a diversity of voices. Maybe they're always hearing from the same person and they want to hear from other people. But even that, like, what are they hoping they'll get from more diverse voices? Do they think they're going to get better results? Do they think they're going to get faster results? Are there particular departments or areas where they're concerned that they're not hearing enough feedback? You can see how just this simple statement could mean hundreds of different things. And if you don't sort of see clearly what the desires are beneath the simple statement, you could head in a direction that isn't appreciated, and your efforts to kind of get on board could be absolutely underappreciated. So the second way that we can end up kind of feeling underappreciated is we get a directive, like we want people to speak up more in meetings, and we don't leverage our own strengths fully. We try to sort of fit into some version of that we think is what they want, and maybe discounts the natural gifts that we have. So just take a simple example of you being an introvert, okay? So if you're an introvert who likes to think things through before they speak, a popcorn style meeting where people are just throwing out ideas and speaking up more and giving off the cup feedback is not the ideal scenario for you to shine. So you'd have to go way outside of your comfort zone to sort of meet the directive. I want people to speak more at meetings, to meet the directive in that most straightforward way. So how could you leverage your own gifts to meet this new challenge that's been put in front of you? I mean, maybe it's something simple like asking for a topic to be added to the next meeting, where you could sort of reflect some of your feedback. So let's say we're talking about, next quarter's goals or something like that, and you didn't have a lot to share in the meeting. Maybe you say, I really enjoyed listening to this conversation. Can we add a short agenda item to the next meeting where we just kind of revisit what we've talked about? Because I think, some things might come up for me in between our next conversation. The other possibility is that you could just say like, hey, I've got a couple of ideas kind of starting to formulate after hearing everybody talk today. Would you mind if I shared a few thoughts over email in the next day? And that would be a way for you to sort of show engagement in the meeting, but not have to sort of speak off the cuff and before you're ready, before you've really thought things through. So it's important that we, if we understand the goal clearly, that we try to reach it in such a way that's in line with sort of the core principles of who we are on the inside, rather than trying to squeeze ourselves into somebody else's mold. And if we sort of veer off track with that and we start to become an extrovert if we're really an introvert, we're going to feel underappreciated a lot. So the last thing that can happen is we can understand the directive really clearly, but there can be a real mismatch with our own core values, and this can lead to feeling underappreciated. So the question is, how do we spot core conflicts in our values in a simple and straightforward directive, like we want people to speak up more in meetings? Well, one of the things you might realize is that your boss wants more participation in meetings because he gets kicks out of stirring up and encouraging a high level of competition and comparison in the office. Maybe that even comes from sort of a good place, in the sense that this is his idea about how people perform at their highest, is that if there's a sense of competition and comparison, they're going to be inspired to do their best work. And for some people, that might even be effective, that they are inspired to take their work to the next level in that scenario. But for you, it could be that you find that comparison and competition sort of shut down your creative juices or your problem-solving abilities. And in that case, you've got a values conflict between sort of your boss's philosophy on how to motivate and manage and lead people, and sort of what you need in order to feel like you can do your best work. And so there again, it's likely that you could end up feeling underappreciated. So give some thought to whether or not this simple example of kind of a straightforward request, which is we want people to participate more in meetings, has any relevance to feelings of being underappreciated in your life today, or ways that you've been sort of forcing yourself into somebody else's mold of what you think that they want you to be like. And look forward to talking with you all next week.